This is WKYT This Morning.
It's a great way to wake up this morning to a big UK win. Good morning, I'm Michelle Chamberlain.
You got it, and it's also Friday. That's a good thing as well. I'm Bill Bryant, and we're so glad you're with us on WKYT. Changes are coming in our weather. We've enjoyed spring-like weather. Ironically, it becomes spring, and we're going the other way.
It's been great, too, hasn't it? This weather's so fickle, right, Micah?
Yeah, that's a good word, by the way. Early in the morning here at 5 a.m. Live sky camera, here's your shot outside. We're looking good this morning. She said she was going to do that. I said, don't use that word. I won't keep a straight face if you do. But outside at the moment, things look just fine. But it is chilly. We're at 39 now in Richmond. We haven't hit the 30s in quite some time. So we have some chilly conditions this morning, but I promise you this, it warms very rapidly. Another nice one in store, low to mid 60s, just like we've had past couple of days. Obviously, the focus of the forecast is not today because it's pretty boring weather. We have March Madness of our own with the weather as we head towards your weekend. Rain and snow mix. Are we expecting any accumulation? I might have a map for you and I'll show you who can expect the best chances coming up.
So UK fans were thrilled to see the Wildcats take care of business against Stony Brook last night. Here in Lexington, several bars and restaurants were packed with fans watching the game. Many fans said they had to arrive early, knowing most places around town would be full. Those we spoke to said there was a mixture of emotions before the game, but once the Cats started building a big lead, the confidence of Big Blue Nation quickly began to grow.
There's always that nervousness before going to the first round game. You always want them to win. You never want them to lose. But there's the confidence knowing we are the Big Blue Nation and we're here for the Final Four.
Well, UK fans now have a day to rest before the emotions return Saturday when the Cats take on Indiana.
And while the UK men's basketball team is away from Lexington, there's a lot of hoops action that is still going on this weekend right here.
That's right. It's the Sweet 16 boys basketball tournament, and it's underway, and the UK women's basketball team begins their NCAA run tomorrow. WKYT's Mike Byer joins us with more on this exciting weekend. Good morning, Mike.
Every basketball fan dreams of this time of year, and if you are a true lover of the game, Lexington is the place to be this weekend. Basketball action picks back up today with the boys KHSAA Sweet 16 tournament. It will resume right here at Rupp Arena in Lexington. Paul Lawrence Dunbar is going to take on top-ranked Bowling Green this afternoon at 1:30 with a trip to the Final Four on the line. Then later today, South Laurel will take on South Oldham starting at 8 p.m. Basketball action picks back up tomorrow with the Kentucky women. They'll kick off a school record 7th consecutive NCAA tournament appearance. They'll take on the Bulldogs of UNC Asheville at 4 p.m. on ESPN2. The game will be right here in Lexington on their home court at Memorial Coliseum. And to cap off the weekend will be the game every UK fan is looking forward to, Kentucky versus Indiana in the second round of the NCAA tourney. The game tips off at 5:15 right here on WKYT. Now, with all of this basketball action means extra people will be in town, which means more traffic. And it's also a safe bet to say that all restaurants and bars will be packed to the rafters. Live in Lexington, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Probably so. Thank you so much, Mike. And for more on the latest men's and women's NCAA tournament coverage, just go to our website, WKYT.com. You can also check out our WKYT News app.
So now we switch to a more concerning issue in Montgomery County. The sheriff's office says they're seeing a rise in drug use throughout the community.
And now parents are growing concerned that illegal activities are starting to move ever closer to the schools after a bag of heroin was found outside a Montgomery County elementary school earlier this week. WKYT's Mark Barber now is live in our newsroom, our live desk now with this developing issue. Mark?
Good morning, Bill. The small bag of heroin was found on the sidewalk outside Mount Sterling Elementary School after a blood drive just 2 days ago. School administrators say none of the young students were in danger because the drugs were discovered long after the school had closed for the day. The disturbing find comes as drug use spikes in the community. The sheriff tells WKYT that 3 out of 4 calls that they responded to last Friday were all drug related. The problem is so big, school administrators say they cannot fight it alone, so they're inviting parents and students to a public forum at the Montgomery County High School in 2 weeks.
There is accessibility to drugs if people want them, and it's unfortunate and it's sad, but as a parent, you need to know what to look out for.
One woman who has children in the elementary school says she saw some of those signs of drug use in the park next to the school. We'll take a look at her concerns, as well as the possible reason for the increase in heroin-related issues in Montgomery County, coming up at 5:30. From the live desk, Mark Barber, WKYT.
All right, Mark, thank you. Lexington police are trying to figure out what led up to a shooting outside of a shopping center. It happened around 2 o'clock yesterday in the Palomar Center shopping center parking lot near the intersection of Man o' War and Harrodsburg Road. Police say a witness walked into a restaurant at the shopping center and told the manager that someone had been shot. A short time later, police say a 19-year-old man showed up at a hospital with a gunshot wound to the leg. Police say he is not cooperating with them. So far, they have not made any arrests. This is the 5th shooting in Lexington in the last 5 days.
A bill that would make community college free to high school graduates has passed the Kentucky House. Kentucky high school graduates would still have to apply for federal and state scholarships, but the state would cover whatever cost was left. Students would have to maintain at least a 2.0 grade point average. The bill is modeled after a similar program in Tennessee. If passed, the proposal will eventually cost taxpayers about $20 million a year. The bill now heads to the state Senate for consideration.
The Kentucky Senate has passed a bill that would end state inspections of coal mines. The bill would turn those inspections over to the federal government. Supporters of the bill say Kentucky's coal industry is suffering from too much regulation, and the bill would end duplication by state and federal regulators. But opponents say the state has a responsibility to ensure that miners are safe. The bill is now heading over to the State House. Time this morning is 5:08, and WKYT This Morning is just getting started. So good to have you with us on your Friday.
Residents in a Washington community say their neighborhood is under attack by turkeys. A look at the turkey takeover when we return.
Pretty calm and quiet this morning. It's all about the chilly temperatures this morning, but once we hit the afternoon in the 60s, a very nice day, but that weekend with that cool down and the rain-snow mix, I'm going to have the latest details coming to you next.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Pretty calm and clear early this morning. A really good looking start to the day. You can look outside and see every star in the sky, so no real cloud cover around. Now, as we track off into your afternoon, we're going to go from the 30s this morning, even a couple of 40s. So it's a cold start to the afternoon right there where we're going to be in the low to mid 60s. So grab that coat before you take off, but you can get rid of it later on today as well. Mostly sunny skies, 63 degrees for a high. Then we head off into the evening hours. In the evening hours, heading out to dinner, everything looks just fine. If you have any plans, any activities going on later on this evening, once that sunset sets, it does get a bit cool. It's a light coat, maybe a long sleeve shirt. That'll do the trick. Once we head off into the night and into tomorrow, clouds on the increase before midnight. Then it's after that we start to see some rain move in, and not just rain, but the possibility of some snow mixed in as well. And that's going to start off tomorrow morning before noontime, and then it tracks through the day. Let me show you hour by hour forecasts. Now, this is one particular model. This is the NAM model that we like to look at, and it's done a pretty good job in the recent chances that we've had some snow. So let's break it down for you. 8 a.m., there's some snow mixed in, especially north of I-64. Now, on Saturday, that is going to be the chance north of 64. That's the best chance to actually pick up on some snowfall. Now, really, toward noontime, that's when it really starts to kick in. But look at these temperatures. We're still talking about the 40s. So it's mostly rain there during that time. But really, during the morning into early afternoon, you could get some snow mixed in. Any accumulation expected? Yes, some light amounts are expected in isolated spots, spotty spots. Not everybody will see that. Most of us will stay without snowfall accumulation, but I do expect at least a few spots, especially along 64, which does include Lexington, and northbound. That is your best bet to pick up on some light accumulation. The good news here is that if you do pick up on light accumulation, just know this, these grounds are extremely warm. So yeah, you can get it heavy enough to stick, but it won't stick around for a long time. It melts away pretty quickly within a few hours. Once we hit Sunday, we still have that chance at a rain-snow mix, especially if you are south of 64. So Sunday is mainly south of 64. Saturday is mainly north of 64 if you're looking for snowfall. So the rain-snow mix, it's a very compelling forecast, bringing you in and just saying, are we going to get snow or not? So that's what we're going to be looking for as we slide off towards your Saturday and Sunday. Guys, next week we go from the 40s to the 60s. We just skipped the 50s. I guess nobody likes the 50s, but 65 there on Saturday, and we're back in the 70s there next week. So short-lived. I know a lot of people are saying, every time I go out, where's the snow? When's the cold air going to get here? I think people are kind of dreading that situation, but it's short-lived. It's all right.
Yeah, so we'll get through it and it'll be all right next week.
That's right.
And if the kiddos say, can we build a snowman? It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it'll be tough, but maybe on I would lean more towards Saturday than Sunday of doing that.
Probably not much of one. So.
Yeah, right. A little.
You know they're going to ask.
Yeah, right.
5:14 is our time this Friday morning.
Oh, that's my turn, right? So residents in a Washington community say their neighborhood is being overwhelmed by feathered vandals.
Take a look. The culprit's wild turkeys. The Department of Fish and Wildlife says that the large birds are damaging houses, also causing trouble for gutters, even denting some cars there. They say a certain pack of turkeys has been reported terrorizing young kids on their way home from school. Wildlife officials say the birds seem to like the area and they do not want to leave. They've claimed their territory up on the roof there, as you see. Residents say, though, they are growing tired of the turkey takeover.
It got to a point where everywhere we turned there were turkeys and turkey droppings and turkeys on our roofs and turkeys everywhere.
Wildlife officials say they're having a hard time rounding up the birds because it is turkey mating season. They estimate nearly 1,000 turkeys are currently roaming in that community. Well, that is something.
I've never seen anything like that.
You'll see them sometimes, along the side of a road, but just moving in on a town is kind of interesting there.
Oh, on the roof?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's good to have you with us on WKYT at 5:15 on your Friday morning.
Yeah, when we return, we'll have a look at your money.
A big change in the bottom line for soccer's governing body, and find out how much pet owners splurge on their furry friends. I'm Karina Mitchell with those stories coming up in your CBS Money Watch report.
Good morning. Welcome back into WKYT this morning, 5:19, early on your Friday. Really early if you were up for the ball game, right?
Very true. I'm surprised people were able to stay up so late.
Exactly.
Of course, you think that way when you get up this early, right?
That's right. It's good to have you along in any case. Well, soccer's governing body suffered its first financial loss, and the country is making fewer exports these days.
Karina Mitchell has the latest on your money.
The Commerce Department says the country's trade deficit jumped to $484 billion. That's its highest level since 2008 and an increase of 24% over 2014. The U.S. made fewer exports in part due to a strong dollar and weakening economies overseas. On Thursday, Wall Street had an up day as oil prices climbed. The Dow picked up 155 points while the Nasdaq added 11. FIFA suffered its first financial loss since 2002 last year. Soccer's embattled governing body reported a loss of $122 million after a year rocked by a corruption scandal. FIFA's total income for 2015 was $1.15 billion, less than its expenses of almost $1.3 billion. Included in those expenditures was nearly $28 million in executive pay and $61 million in legal costs. And according to a new report, Americans spent a record $60 billion on their pets last year. Driving the increase was a 12% rise in spending on grooming, boarding, and training for their pets. Millennials and baby boomers helped lead the surge. And that's your Money Watch. For more, log on to CBSMoneyWatch.com. In New York, I'm Karina Mitchell.
Well, if you have any canned tuna in the house, make sure to check the UPC codes before eating it. Bumblebee and Tri-Union Seafoods are recalling thousands of their chunk-like tuna cans. Bumblebee says some 32,000 cases may have been contaminated during a factory sterilization process. The company says eating that tuna could be life-threatening. There are no reports yet, though, of anyone getting sick. Tri-Union Seafoods recalled about 3,000 cases of its Chicken of the Sea brand that may be undercooked. You can find the exact UPC codes on the FDA website, fda.org. And we have also the details on our website this morning, WKYT.com. That's a concern, so you want to check those out. Time this morning, 5:21, and a lot more news is coming up this morning.
We're in the 30s and 40s this morning. It is one of those that you might need a light coat before you take off, at least a long sleeve shirt. That'll help. But I would say a light coat because toward the afternoon you can get rid of that. We're holding on the temperatures there in the 30s, but we rise very rapidly in toward the afternoon. 63 degrees, pretty much where we have been the past couple of days. I think today, though, is a little bit more pleasant. The reason being, not because of the sunny skies, we've had that the past couple of days, but the winds will actually die down just a bit. So 63 will feel a lot better than the 63 from yesterday or the day before.